Let's talk about it. Come on and shout it. I talk, you talk, we talk. Women talk life. It ain't no surprise. Baby, you could see if you would open up your eyes. You won't understand if you can't open up your mind. So let's stop wasting time when women talk live.
And welcome to another episode of Women's Talk Live. I'm your girl, April J.
I'm your girl, SassyScribe.
And this is KL Boogie.
What's going on, y'all? So we have a very, very interesting show for you today. Something that I really didn't know, because I know I'm not really on social media like that, which I should be, but I'm really not. And I really haven't been on it these last couple of weeks, but we're
You had a
gonna
good
get
reason.
Yeah. but we're gonna get into something that is completely gone viral that I think all women should be aware of. It's sick. I'm sorry. It's just sick.
It is.
But before we get into that, we're going to get into our history facts. So our first history fact is about Walt Disney. Walt Disney wasn't just building cartoon magic. He was also quietly working with the FBI during the Red Scare. He was recruited in 1940 and later named a special agent in charge contact in 1954, which was basically the Bureau's famous way of saying, call him if you need Hollywood gossip. Disney.
He was a dry snitch.
Yes.
He was a dry snitch.
Yes. Disney remained on friendly terms with the FBI until his death in 1966, even though the relationship got a little awkward when he didn't clear one of Mickey Mouse Club segments with them first. Wow. I don't know what segment that was.
He was dry snitching. He was probably telling on the people like Clark Gable and who's the guy? Who's the guy that played in the Ten Commandments?
Oh,
Rock Hudson?
No,
not Rock Hudson. Rock Hudson was I think he was that way too.
Yeah, I think it was.
Oh, Charlton Heston.
Charlton Heston. Yes.
Charlton Heston.
Charlton Heston. Marilyn Monroe. All of them folks.
Yep.
Dry snitching on all of y'all.
Oh yeah. I mean, but the open secret was that Marilyn and JFK was smashing hard.
Yeah, she was the modern day
jump off.
Yes.
Wow.
As my buddy Sticks call him, a slam piece.
Oh man. All right. All right. So back in the 1950s, 60s, and 70s, a lot of healthy breakfasts looked suspicious, like a cereal box came first and science came later. We were sold on vitamin-enriched flakes, soft white bread, and hard-shelled margarine sticks, all backed by ads that talked about the modern science and heart-healthy living. Margarine in particular had a full superhero makeover. Once just a cheap butter stand-in, it was suddenly rebranded as good fat savior of the heart. Thanks to those pure vegetable oils and cheerful low cholesterol labels. What nobody really understood yet was that many of these spreads were pumped full of trans fat from partial hydrogenases, a processed twist that turned out to raise bad cholesterol and lower good cholesterol, the exact opposite of the promise in the ads. Today, the Marge back in the day has become a cautionary tale about how fast something can go from nutritious hero to public health villain once the research finally catches up with the marketing.
Yeah.
Well, they do that about Crisco, the shortening.
Yeah.
That was used for I think fuel or something else, and they just added yellow coloring and paid the government for the advertising to say that it was a healthier alternative.
Well,
Ain't
you
that
know,
Monsanto? Didn't Monsanto do the same thing? About
Who?
the Monsanto, wasn't there a company being Monsanto related to the sugar and stuff? Because
oh,
Oh,
a lot of the things that are available here, they stop in in Europe.
oh, you know,
Those countries,
when you go over there, a lot of the stuff that you see here, the food
yep,
tastes different. They don't use a whole bunch of the other stuff
yep,
that we use here
yep.
in America. Hey, I remember growing up, the Crisco can that was full of lard that your grandparents used to fry chicken, and
that's what it was called, lard. It was
yeah,
actually
lard.
lard.
Yeah. So it was like, but when you go overseas, you don't have that. That's yeah, you
It,
don't
it's
eat all that stuff.
Well,
it's
no,
funny
because they don't know,
because
like their red dye number, whatever, for. But I did want to go back. So I found out that Crisco was used as a sexual lubricant in the 1970s and 80s.
ew. No wonder their hair was growing like afros.
Right.
Look, no wonder they had them
Right.
big ass cans.
Yes. Yes.
Oh my God,
Oh.
that's disgusting.
Oh my
But it
But
was
God.
you
used
know
for
what?
machinery lubrication, and then they put it for re- um yeah, sexual lubrication, and then they added yellow food coloring to it and sold it as an alternative to
You know who thought of
cholesterol.
that?
Wow.
All of this is gonna like all tie in together with the bullshit that we're about to talk about later. But it sounds like a man thought of that. Because no
Yeah.
woman thinks about adding Crisco to her vagina.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know. I'm dry. Let me see if this Crisco gonna
This
work.
course gonna work. Right.
You know,
Okay.
it's
Yeah.
like,
All right.
Mm.
Speaking of men, the U.S. Capitol has its own tiny VIP subway, basically a secret people moving just for Congress. Since 1909, shuttle cars no bigger than a museum park tram have been zipping senators and representatives between the Capitol and their office buildings on three private lines. The stations are all within shouting distance of each other. Hart, Dixon, Russell, Rayburn, and the Capitol itself. So this is less city subway and more fancy basement train. It started with one line to Russell Senate Building, then expand with a monorail to Dersick, and later an automatic train to Rayburn. Best of all, it's not open to the public unless you're lucky enough to score a ride with a member of Congress or a special escort. And hopefully that special ride does not lead to something else. Because we already had somebody step
like
down because of that.
we understand the administration we got now. That little touchy feely,
Yes, very touchy
Mm.
feely. Yes.
touchy
Yeah.
feely.
So that part.
The shit our taxpayers' dollars pay for.
Exactly.
An
I
Yeah.
was thinking
underground
that
monorail system.
Yeah.
An
just for them.
underground monorail system.
Now
Yeah,
I
yeah.
learned when I was working in DC, I heard about that and I was just like, oh, another dark hole for them to ride down. Okay.
You're right.
All right.
Speaking of
Speaking
wait a
of
minute.
that.
Speaking of dark holes.
Oh,
Wait a minute.
shoot,
Speaking
I
of dark
just got
holes. Speaking of dark holes, I gotta give, and I know people probably ain't gonna like us, and the views and opinions, these are just my opinions. It's not the views and opinions of Women Talk Live and Women Talk Live, Women Talk
Maybe
Live
a
over
couple
nights,
of us.
or
I was gonna
WPB Media
say
Networks.
we may co-sign a few.
But Iran and these Lego videos and how they trolling Cash Patel for being a drone.
Hilarious.
And Pete Hegseth
Hilarious.
and Trump and Netanyahu, girl,
Oh
I can
man.
say these are the highlight of my day. I done saved them all into a folder. Shit, I'm ready to join the
Hilarious.
Telegram group just so I can get an advance,
Hilarious.
so I can get an advanced look at them because these are top for their social media people. And this is what the United States don't understand. Iran has more PhDs than anybody. They are an extremely intelligent society. And because they live in Iran or the Middle East, the right has the belief that they live in fucking huts underground, like where they found Saddam Hussein.
Yeah, yeah, no.
And that's just not the case. They're highly educated people.
Yeah, they've been around for centuries. This government and this society has been around for centuries. And the fact that some idiot thinks that they're going to take down something that has been around that long is,
we
is
only
idiotic.
250 years old. In terms of a country, we are a baby.
Yes.
We are a toddler.
Yes.
These are things that have lasted for dynasties.
Civilizations.
Like, we're talking like when Jesus walked the earth, like BC. Okay?
BC AD. We are 250 years. These countries are thousands of years old. Thousands of years old. And this is what the white people don't understand.
That's what I wanted to say.
The United States is the fucking experiment for democracy for the world. All these other countries got their shit figured out. They've been here. You can see the history when you visit these countries and the way they have these turrets and these little cutouts in these castles where they used to shoot the bow and arrows. Why do you think they build the wall so high? Mm-hmm. But if they're not traveling outside of the United States, they would never know that.
Right.
They think, Game of Thrones is on a set in Hollywood when it's really and truly, I think it's filmed in Croatia or Iceland or something.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's a lot. I think a lot of people don't really get the concept of what it is to be overseas and what it is to learn of those cultures. Those cultures have been around for eons. And honestly, I believe now, even though the Native Americans that were here before anybody got here, I believe black people were over here with the Native Americans. Because, you go in certain parts of South America. I think I was in Belize, and they took us to see the Mayan temples and everything. And the guy was talking, and the guy was like, "You have any questions?" I was like, "Yeah, I got a couple of questions." I said, "These Mayan temples sure do look like the pyramids in Egypt." The black people were over here because where would they get that influence? And he was like,
exactly.
Well, I was just like, look at him. I said, look at this one in particular. It looks like the old pyramid that you see right now in Egypt. I said, so
they broke the nose off so they wouldn't see how broad the nose was.
Exactly. So I said, so why wouldn't you think that black people did not travel and was influenced by influence other cultures? Because you're looking at it, you're seeing it. And he could not explain that to me at all. I was like, why do you think y'all come in different colors? And he got a little nervous. And granted, I had some black women around me, so they were like, yeah, you know what?
You had backup.
Because he was sitting there he was just like, well, yeah, I guess I got to look. I was like, yeah, you should look into that. I said, because there's some history that you should be teaching.
Well, if you think about it, the Moors were seafaring people. The Moors went everywhere. So everywhere that they went, and they were conquerors. Even in terms of, exactly. So even in terms of when they came to the States had no sovereignty over Moors. So in terms of us traveling and having influence, I would say no doubt. But I wanted to go back to what you said about the Native Americans because I was watching the show Sitting Bull. And of course, we never learn the truth when we're educated by the conqueror or the
colonizer.
Winner. But they were talking about, exactly. So they were talking about Little Bighorn. And you showed how in the beginning, the government paid and gave away hundreds of acres of these lands that didn't belong to them. Just gave them away to white people and told them, go, civilize this area. If you agree to civilize it, we'll send you there. And I remember being in Bermuda, and Britain did the same thing to Bermuda. They just gave away Bermudan land, sent white people over there and told them they, pay them, sent food and everything over there because they wanted to marginalize the number of white people in that space. So
The Dutch did the same
historically,
thing. The Dutch did the same thing to the nations that they had. I mean, all of the
yeah,
white,
it
all of the
is
white
and
nations
you
did
don't
that.
want this stuff learned. That's the shit that just drives me crazy, is that you really don't want some little kid right now to know that Nanny and Poppy was having bologna sandwiches underneath a swinging black man whose nuts were cut off on the ground after they were auctioned off to somebody or one of their friends. That's what you don't want. Rather than tell them the truth, tell them why you fucked up as a people because of all the history and the depravity that you secretly abide by, that you're not giving light to. Yeah, you're gonna bear the consequences of that.
Yeah, it's interesting because even like uh, when you have some Hispanic folks that um, you have the dark ones, you have the light ones, and whatever. And I'm thinking, and I remember saying someone to someone and saying, you know, out of all the races, black people are the only people that can make color. So at some point, where do you
Can you
think
say that again?
y'all? We the
Say
only
that
ones that can make color. So where do you think you Hispanics came from?
again.
And why is
Not
it?
only
Yeah,
that,
because
I
you can look
mean,
at our panel.
but
Look at
you,
me,
but
you,
you,
and Sassy.
but you got to also look at the fact that it's not just the Latinos. Like there's 130
It
million
is.
people that live in South
Yes.
America that
Right.
identify as from African descent. But you got to go over to the Far East, and you got the Koreans and the Filipinos and the Singaporeans and the Balinese and the Malaysians. They all dark too.
Yeah.
They call them Aboriginal in Australia. They still black, and they treat them just like they black.
I think even India. I think India
I was getting
has
ready to say the
Oh,
same
some
thing.
points
In
of
India,
India
like,
is straight. Y'all got affinity to
like,
whiteness
come
so bad that
on.
it ain't even. They y'all
yep,
what did they
and
they
are
they what they
encouraged.
call them
They're
sand niggas?
encouraged
Ain't
to
they called
marry
sand
to
niggas?
lighten their race.
Well,
That,
they are very, very prejudiced towards dark skinned Indians. They
Yeah,
really
because
are.
they
They're very,
niggas.
yeah. But they are fascinated when they see black people come and visit. When black people
Hmm.
come, you would think that we were celebrities because when we went over there, they wanted to take pictures with us. They were fascinated by us, and I'm thinking, sitting there looking at myself like, y'all got all these dark skinned Indians around here, and y'all fascinated by the black people.
But but
Where you think all
but
these folks came from?
But you got to understand the stereotype of black people across the world, right? Is that
mm-hmm,
we women, we're hypersexualized, we're loud,
yep.
we're ignorant, we finger wagging, neck moving. You know what I'm saying? That's what their mindset is. So when they see a group of black people, first of all, you must be rich because black people are poor in
They do
America.
not
They are
travel.
never allowed to travel outside. They don't have the money. So now it's almost, well, they gotta be rich because they're here.
Hmm.
When my
Mm-hmm.
girlfriend went to China and Japan and she taught in China for school, they followed her around like she was fucking Queen Latifah or whatever,
Yeah, yeah,
wanting to touch
yeah.
her and touch her hair.
Right,
And
yeah.
she
That was
from the
one thing
hood.
I couldn't get with because they wanted to like touch her. And I was
Yes,
like, whoa, wait a minute. And then
yeah,
then here's the thing. Here's the kicker. Because I had my hair like in like I just when I go over there I just wet it, put whatever.
right.
And so I had one Indian guy ask me. He said, "Oh, your hair is so pretty." I said, "Thank you." And he was like, "That's yours?" And I looked at him. I was like, "Yeah, don't all black women wear y'all hair?"
Yeah.
Wow.
I was like, "Wait a minute, what do you mean is that yours?" Like,
And to be honest with you, the Indian Remy, in my opinion, isn't as good as the Malaysian. Sorry, not sorry.
all
I
right,
saw a thing where they're
Right.
getting curls like froze over there now. They're getting their
yeah,
hair kinky, like the
right,
kinky process.
Or as
yeah,
Vogue magazine just called it, the cloud bob. Fuck out of here.
yeah.
What the hell?
They called Tracy Ellis Ross's
Yes.
afro the cloud bob. And black women, we was like, nah, we ain't letting you motherfuckers rename that. That's a fucking afro. Like her mama wore and mahogany. And then you had Deborah Cox take a picture and do hashtag at Vogue. Or no, she added Vogue and like afro, no cloud bob here.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right,
Oh.
but we don't want to
Okay.
get off topic. So go
Yeah,
ahead.
we don't. Yeah, all right. So I had to reach out to the ladies this week, and I wanted to know if, because they know I'm on social media a lot, right? And I wanted to know if they had heard about this recent expose that CNN had done. So what I wanted to call a show, because I really couldn't call it, like men ain't shit, but what we're naming this show is When Misogyny Goes Viral. So we want to understand this online rape academy that CNN just did. So CNN did a disturbing investigation into an online community that is a so-called rape academy. And as of the date that it was exposed, which was in February, it had gotten 62 million views. 62 million views. And the premise of this website, of this whole website, is called Motherless, and it's created by this dude named Joshua Lang, right? And in this expose, you have husbands and boyfriends sharing how to rape your wife or girlfriend while she's unconscious and then film it. They have tips on the types of drugs you can use, the types of food you can put it in, drinks you can put it in so that it's undetected, how long you have to wait for the drug to take effect. And then you can videotape it, and you have 62 million views. But to date, as of today, or whenever you watch this podcast, it will have been 188 million people have watched this degrading, just I can't even, it's just evil. Is it evil? It's just evil.
Yeah.
That's just evil.
That you have thought on how to rape women. And they talk about this male loneliness epidemic, and maybe this is part of it, fellas. If your wife that is laying beside you can't trust your ass not to drug her for you to get some ass, you are the problem.
So when you talk about filming, are they posting these?
They have videos, because they on the expose, they got just like the silhouettes of like the profile pictures. They just have the silhouettes. They're not really exposing the men per se, but they're exposing the comments. The videos are being redacted and whatnot. But it says was when CNN uncovered this network, they openly exchanged ideas about controlling, incapacitating, and violating. And they are hidden under the deep, dark web. But there are mainstream platforms where that type of misogyny and everything is rewarded and normalized. And we talked about this in our show a couple of weeks ago about the manosphere and these podcast bros that are out here that are doing this. And I have to think that these are some pussyless, dickless, got no game motherfuckers, because women out here literally giving pussy away.
Right.
Giving it away, but you just asking them out for a date on coffee because they haven't been out on a date in a while. They haven't been touched in a while. And y'all created an academy, basically a manifesto website on how to do it.
So I'm sitting there like, okay, so if you have a wife, a girlfriend, and granted you have marriages where, they've been married for a long time and wife not giving it up, so you gonna drug her and then just to get some because she won't give you none? Like,
go buy some.
Why? Yeah, like why in the hell?
But you know what? Politically, we're going to a space where that's not going to be illegal. Like, your rights as a woman, even back in the day, that is what he's entitled to do. Like, it used to be men could not rape their wives. You could not charge a man with rape for having forceful sex against her will, and I think that the mindset of men, in terms of particularly white men, in terms of losing their sense of superiority and their, being threatened, or that I always say it's like the Wizard of Oz, where people are really pulling back the curtain and seeing them for what they really are. You are not superior. You are not the epitome of masculinity. You are not a superhero. You're just not. And that acceptance, or trying to keep that curtain closed is really, I think, what's driving them crazy and driving them all to try to find a space where they can normalize the behavior and band together and think that it's okay. The same way we had a senator on the floor talking about you should be able to marry a 14-year-old child, and it shouldn't be a problem, even if it's your cousin. First cousin.
Wasn't that the senator from Louisiana, or was it like Iowa or someplace, or Utah?
I'm not sure where he's from.
I remember because there was a senator that wanted to lower the age of consent to 12. Like, they don't understand why 16 should be the age of consent. But men watch this content because we have these digital spaces that are echo chambers. Like, again, these manosphere podcasts that are telling them the reason why they can't get laid is because of women. No, motherfucker, you can't get laid because you have no game, you have no conversation, you have no personality. Right. And you don't get women's coochies wet enough to want to give it to you. Yeah. All you got to do is stimulate our mind. The ass, trust me, the ass will follow. But you don't know how to stimulate a woman's mind. So you turn to these alternative methods. And I'm definitely going to make sure that my nephews, I'm going to have to talk to my boys. But it says the algorithm amplify what gets engagement, and outrage always performs. And because we're outraged, of course, this is and since y'all haven't seen it, this is all that's on my social media platforms. It's about entitlement and control. And as we've seen, when I started going through this whole thing and then going down this rabbit hole, because girl, I'm telling you, I must have been up just scrolling, but one eye open, I was so tired, eyes were watering, but I had to go through some of these comments, and the comments from the men has a whole thing of this lack of accountability. The men are mad that the women are mad and exposing their rapists. Because, girl, these comments, you got women exposing their priests, their pastors, their employers, their uncles, their daddies, their granddaddies, their cousins, their brothers. They got women out here explaining that they never shared it with anybody. I was 19. I was 22. I was 21. I was, sharing their experiences being sexually assaulted. And the men in the comments are mad at the women for exposing the men, which is where we are right now with these Trumpstein files, with these Trump stop files, not the Epstein, the Trump files. This is where we are.
We did a show on women not feeling protected, and that's why. Even for the number of rapes that go unreported. I did want to go back and say it was Senator Langford from Oklahoma said the age of consent should be 13 on the floor. You said it out loud. So just fact check, people. The stuff we're saying is not a lie. It is public record. He said it on the floor. The age of consent should be 13. And he's like fucking 78, 86, 98. Like,
which
I don't know, he's old as hell.
And he done probably touched somebody.
He probably tried.
He done probably touched somebody. So they need to talk to his nieces, his daughters, his granddaughters. Any woman in his orbit now needs to be interviewed.
Exactly.
Because what is attractive? If you look at a 13-year-old, y'all think about it. April, you think about your daughters at 13. KL, you think about your daughters and your granddaughters, right? At 13, and you looking at them. Yeah. What does a grown, decrepit, crypt keeper, 73-year-old man see in a 13-year-old girl other than control and domination and tightness?
That's it.
Exactly.
That's it. And that's the whole thing. That right there. Just like you were talking about women, I wonder how women go against their own interests. Like we're talking about the Handmaid's Tale and stuff like that. I think that when you're groomed at such a young level, subconsciously, you don't even think about the fact that this is impacted you in such a way that you think it's okay, or you think that you should vote this way, or you should do these things. Like the things that you're talking about in the level of depravity and abuse, and I can't the
Oh
death of
yeah.
your childhood by somebody that's in your family, like that's just another level of, oh
But
my God.
you have these women, like if we think of the Handmaid's Tale, Serena Joy was so male centered that
Yeah.
she was willing, you know what I mean? She was so willing to have every woman's rights
Yeah.
removed
Right.
because she felt as a woman that she needed the direction from a man.
Right.
And when we look at the impact, when women see millions of views on content that openly discusses harming them, the message is, again, we've done this before. We're not safe. Our humanity and our
No, of course
safety is
not.
our safety is negotiable and our humanity is optional. And as Black people, we felt for 400 plus years on our humanity being optional and our safety being negotiable.
Right.
We've
I mean,
seen it.
even to the point where you can't even trust who's laying next to you, because you don't know if they're looking at this stuff and thinking, okay,
It's
maybe,
Yeah.
you know.
it's really why a lot of women have really checked out of dating.
Mm,
They really and truly have checked out of dating. They are, and I have a lot of my girlfriends. They've checked, even me. It's just like you just don't have the mental capacity to
right.
deal with the bullshit because at
Right.
my age, I still have men with that. I want this traditional woman that's going to do this, motherfucker. You can't afford for me not to work and take care of both of us. So therefore, you're not going to dictate. You know what I mean? You're
Right.
not going to dictate what I'm going to do and what I'm not going to do. We can have conversations, but it's women don't want to date anymore. You think about the woman
But
who met
look
a guy
at,
online. Wait a minute. Think about a woman who met a guy online and they ended up going, she ended up going back to his place, bringing him back to her place to watch a movie, right? Now, she did something I would never do. She went to
hell
bed and
no.
left a fucking stranger in her house. And he kept
What?
trying to come into her, yeah, he kept trying to come into her bedroom. And she called the police. When the police got there, he had taken all of her knives, laid it out on the floor on this tarp. He was going to kill her ass. Why would you bring a strange man to your house
Your
and then
house.
go to bed
And
Oh
then
my
go to
God.
bed.
and
Right.
leave him in your house?
Right.
No. First dates, men
That's
don't even get to
insane.
come to your house for like 30 to 60
No.
to 90 days. They don't need to know where you live. And quite
Uh,
frankly, I don't need to go to your
I don't
place.
let nobody know. I mean, unless you really know me, you don't know where the hell I'm at.
Nope, nope, nope. And I mean, you got to
But
think
hold
about it.
on.
So,
Hold on. I wanted to address what April said because I'm just thinking of how much gaslighting must go on in a relationship if you're waking up knowing that you've had sex with someone and not remembering that you had sex with someone. You feel what I'm saying? Like
yes,
you wake up beside your partner and you think you had sex and they're like, we ain't do nothing, like I ain't do nothing, or you this part of your body is sore. That, do you feel what I'm saying? Like
yes,
I could imagine the mental anguish from having to go through that and the amount of gaslighting that has to
Right.
be done in order to maintain some semblance of reality for that person.
Right.
That's insane
well,
to me.
it is insane. So what we need to look at the facts that one, we got to get platforms like this. I don't know who hosts this website. It's called motherless.com that hosts this platform. But platforms need to again enforce their safety standards, be consistent, not selective. And men got to hold other men accountable, both on and offline. And what I've been noticing though, I've been
That
seeing a
part.
lot because 88% of sexual predators are white. And the people don't like it. It ain't the Latinos, it ain't the trans. If you look at it, they use the trans community and the gay community as the fodder
Right.
for the front. When we know that they were at the front lines, but the bottom line has always been black people and then women. That's their main mindset for control. But I'm seeing on these platforms where men are speaking out, men are holding them other men accountable and telling men like I have daughters, and if I find out that when somebody did something like this to my daughter, I am more than willing to sit in jail for the
Yeah.
rest of my life for the things that I would do to you if I
Right.
was to find this out.
Exactly. Exactly.
Yeah.
Education about KL just said earlier where they wanted to reduce the age of consent, education about consent and healthy relationships. Then you have some women, don't ask me why, but some women have these kink fantasies of being raped. And if that is something that you and your partner plan to do and you do it thought out and is consensual, That's something different. I think
yeah,
is,
that's
you know,
different. It's still
it's a
not
kink.
rape if you're
It's a
consenting to it. So, but
right. It's
yeah,
a kink, and if you know anything about that whole BDSM, you do have a
right,
safe word. But then the other one is that society must redefine masculinity and stop being bitches and stop getting
right.
mad when you being called a bitch.
Yeah, bitch.
I mean,
Yes,
you a
exactly,
bitch.
exactly.
Only bitch ass motherfuckers do shit like this.
Right. And
Be-
I will say this, because if you got these senators and these representatives going on the floor saying these things and wanting to lower the age of consent, that says something about your ass if you keep sending them to Washington.
Thank
Stop
you.
voting these old decrepit motherfuckers to Washington.
Crypt keepers need to
Yes.
die.
Like what the hell? Like what? I don't need nobody representing me who thinks that a 14, 13-year-old girl is somebody that can be taken. Like, come on. Come on.
If the age of quote unquote that you become an adult is 18, anybody under that age of 18. But let's be fair, the up until 25, your frontal lobes and everything have not even fully developed. People are fascinated by shiny, flashy objects, right? And you have these senators and it's not just senators, it's celebrities.
Yes.
There's a culture within the music industry that they don't want to talk
Oh.
about.
Oh
You
yeah.
had the what's the young the young white boy that they basically blacklisted him when he has been talking about the pedophilia within Hollywood. Corey Feldman.
Going from it. Yeah,
Corey
it
Feldman.
is.
Okay.
It's
He's been
very
talking
prevalent.
about it
It's
for
very prevalent.
years.
Yes, it is. It's very prevalent.
Very prevalent.
I think that's the reason why Aaliyah got murdered, was because she was part of that culture and she was going to call it out. I mean, you
And
look at it.
but your parents also, I mean, because when I look at these, April, and I know you were in that industry, and I can never imagine you just saying, "Oh, your one of your girls wanted to be in the music industry. I'm gonna go let her live with this person." No, you're not. Come over here. I'm not gonna let you live, whether it's male or female. I'm not gonna let my child out of my sight with somebody I don't
Hell
know.
no.
I don't care how much money
Right.
that you're promising them. So the parents have to take a part of the responsibility of putting their child in danger for
Yeah,
money.
because now with the parents, like my daughter's father, one thing I can say was that when it came to that, I was never left with anybody in the industry. I was never put in any situation. If there was
No
a
diddy.
party or whatever, he was like, "No, we ain't going. No, we ain't doing that." And he wouldn't. He was very protective of our daughters when it came to that, because he's seen it, he saw it, he knew what. So in that aspect, you do have men out here, like you said, that will protect their wives, their daughters, their girl, like from that
The
world,
women in their lives, yeah.
because it's very dark and it's secretive. That's why when stuff start coming out, it's like this been going on for years, eons, and now it's just being brought out because I think people don't realize the power of social media. Right
I
now,
think
social media has it out there.
but I also think that we have been again we're with this patriarchy that we live under. I've always said one man can call a woman a whore and the world will believe it. But one woman call a man a rapist, or 100 women call one man a rapist, and they question 100 women. Like, this isn't an issue about women. It's a societal issue.
Right.
It's rooted in how we raise our boys, how we reward behavior, and how we allow violence. And we have allowed violence to be normalized. And you know how I know how we allow violence to be normalized? Ever since January 6th, when they try to gaslight us and tell us what we saw was a patriotic march, when we saw people being killed. So we have normalized violence against every subset of this society. Every subset of this society, violence has been normalized. And the CNN expose, it just didn't just reveal a disturbing online community. It revealed a cultural crisis where violence against women is not only happening, but being taught, shared, and celebrated.
That's insane.
Well,
It's
I'll
insane.
shout out to CNN for bringing it to exposing
Yes.
it, because
Yes.
you have a lot of these platforms who would not.
And to be honest with you, the platform is being we know who owns these platforms now, so a lot of this information is being suppressed. So this expose came out in February.
Wow.
They did it in I think it came out in March, but the stats of the 62 million started in February. So to date, it's been over 188 million views
Wow.
of. And they was like, well, is it all married men? Is it all your men are trying to really
What difference does it make?
right. The fact that 188 million people, and I'm going to assume it was men and young boys, because that is something that anytime they can control a woman is fascinating to them. It's
Yeah.
fascinating. But
Yeah.
I was disgusted.
Yeah.
And make
Right.
make this little motherfucker famous. Make him famous.
Right. All right.
Thank you, ladies.
No, this was good. This was great. So our poll question, which was something that, like I said, I didn't know about. Were you aware of the Rape Academy that is trending on social media? Were you aware of it? Because I know I was not, but I think as a platform, especially a platform of women, these are some of the things that we need to bring to women's attention and bring into society's attention, because if not, it will still be. And who knows what other dark, secretive background, whatever is out there.
I think it's more than we even realize.
I think
it's more than we even
Oh
realize.
yeah.
too. Yeah. All right. So that brings me to our final thought of today. A woman without a man is like a fish without a bicycle. That's very self-explanatory.
Oh my God.
Okay. And on that note.
Yes.
Right, on that note.
Oh, that was good.
All right, y'all. This is Women's Talk Live with your girl, April J.
I'm SassyScribe.
And this is KL Boogie.
All right, y'all. We will see y'all next week for our last episode for season 2, and we'll be going into season 3. So, see y'all next week.
Peace.
Women talk.